What up, paintball world? This is Steven Reyes back at you again with another episode of Next Point Podcast. For each episode, we dive deep into some aspect of competitive tournament paintball. So today, I wanted to discuss the recipe. The recipe for what? The recipe for winning. I like recipe better than formula. Formulas are math. They're science. They're rigid. Winning, in my opinion, is closer to art. There's a flexibility, but there are principles. There are rules and elements that have to be abided by. I believe there's a list of necessary ingredients that are essential for the winning result. A list of attributes that every championship team has to have in some capacity. Anytime a team has captured that elusive result of winning, you will find these elements at play. Critical elements that have to be focused on, that have proved successful time and time again. So let's kick this thing off. Let's start with numero uno. The number one thing needed to win a national title in tournament paintball. The number one thing that can overcome nearly any team or individual deficiency. That essential element is shooting well off the break. Shooting well off the break. In a game of 5 players versus 5 players, in a game like ours, numbers supersede almost everything. No winning team in modern history has been able to work around it. No matter how skilled the team is at gunfighting, moving, thinking, executing, the simple math of our game, it just trumps the rest. The bodily advantage of a kill off the break can't be understated, can't be ignored. You've heard it be said, a singular kill off the break can be described as a 20% reduction in firepower. 1/5 removed. But it's so much more than that. It's a 20% less chance to get that crucial kill in the future. 20% less chance of making a game-breaking move. 20% less chance to have the last body alive to touch the buzzer after a long war of attrition. In a game of tiny percentages and incremental advantages, 20% rules the day. Virtually nothing can be more important, strategically or tactically, than shooting well off the break. It's essential. Yeah, it allows us to win a lot of breakouts the better we shoot. But it does more than that. It also ensures we don't lose the breakout. Those times our wide threat gets eliminated off the break can be overcome in the blink of an eye when we also secure our own kill off the break. This leads to other aspects of shooting well that are crucial. For one, it opens up the playbook. The coach has greater flexibility and greater creativity. Riskier moves can be called more often when your shooters are hot. Maybe that risky move off the break doesn't work out, but we secure our own kill off the break, negating that downside of that risky move. How much more flexibility does that give your play caller? How much more unpredictable can your play calling be when we are reliably shooting off the break? How much more doubt is there in your opponents on where they can go, where they can survive? What better way is there to control the pace of a game and control the outcome than shooting off the break. It's essential. It's crucial. It can't be made up for in other areas. If the illness is anything and everything bad that can happen in a paintball tournament, the cure is shooting well off the break. So before we go into any of the other elements, let's recognize the most important. We cannot win without shooting well off the break. So what's the second most important ingredient after we're shooting well off the break and securing kills regularly? The second most important ingredient in the winning recipe, we have to win the points we are supposed to. But what points are we supposed to win? Firstly, we must win a massive percentage of our up body situations. This involves shooting off the break, which we've already covered, but it also includes all points where we're able to secure body advantages. It involves assessing advantages and capitalizing on them effectively. It involves avoiding unnecessary gunfights, and it involves avoiding high-risk, low-reward moves. It involves using your superior body count and firepower to smother your opponent, keeping them in a smaller and smaller box of play until the pressure peaks and the next domino falls. Never allowing that next widest person to regain width or escape the tightening noose. Sometimes it includes points with positional advantages, key positional differences, such as being alone in the snake or being the only player wide on the Dorito side. These types of positional advantages must be capitalized on regularly to go deep in a tournament. It's the only way to secure the requisite amount of points to win set after set and go deep in a tournament and find victory. Second most crucial ingredient is winning the points we're supposed to. So let's say we're shooting well off the break and we're winning a majority of the points we're supposed to. What's the third ingredient? Third on the list of essential ingredients for the winning recipe is playing situations correctly, on and off the field. You're up a point, 30 seconds on the clock, up a body. Is that big move necessary? Is that gunfight the right call? Same move, same gunfight, but now we're down 2 points with 1 minute and 30 left. Is it necessary? Is it unnecessary? How do we assess? Score, clock, bodies. Score, the clock, and the bodies. These are the elements that make a particular decision or action right or wrong, on and off the field. To go deep and set yourself up for victory in a tournament, it is essential that we are playing the situations correctly. And this includes everything. Everything from the personnel that's on the field, the play calls, on-field decision making. When we understand the situation, the score, the time, and the bodies, the right answer becomes self-evident. A team cannot survive the tight matches and the inevitable ups and downs of a tournament without respecting the situations at every moment. And the key is focusing on the score, the time, and the bodies. And in that order. That tells us the right and wrong moves to make. It helps us avoid those costly blunders, those big moves that we're just unnecessary. Catch a penalty while we're up 2 bodies. That lose a point that we didn't even need to win the set. This is the third essential ingredient to winning. Play the situations correctly. Score, clock, bodies. So what's the fourth ingredient in our winning recipe we're cooking up? The fourth element is we have to play the field correctly. Every field has unique aspects to them. Every field has its own best practices that will lead to success. One of the most important aspects of playing the field correctly is assessing and prioritizing win condition bunkers. Bunkers and positions that, when occupied, drastically improve your team's success. Oftentimes, these might be bunkers on the 50-yard line. Sometimes they're bunkers that are on your opponent's side of the field. But wherever they are, it is crucial that your team understands them, prioritizes getting into those key locations, and of course, denying the opponent access to those same locations. Assessing win condition bunkers is crucial to putting together winning game plans and good play calls. They can guide your decisions on worthwhile risks off the break, as well as on-field decisions. Playing the field correctly also requires an understanding of the best zones and where those zones can be held from. What bunkers have the visual and the shots on those win condition bunkers? What zones are worth a gunfight to deny the opponent the move? And what zones can be given up to your opponent to ensure your survival? Every zone has a different priority, and understanding and discerning these priorities and acting accordingly is absolutely necessary for success. Understanding the pace is also important. Understanding the pace that a side will allow is an essential aspect of playing the field correctly. Seldom are all 3 sections of the field able to be played at the same pace. Some field, the snake side might be set up so that you can go right to the opponent's side. Some fields you may need to play slower and wait to get your teammate in position prior to capitalizing. Things like traps, crossfield shots, multiple bunkers in position to deny moves all play a role in assessing the appropriate pace for field. Playing the field correctly is essential. So let's move on to the 5th ingredient. What is the 5th ingredient for winning a paintball tournament? Our 5th ingredient is a little less corporeal, but no less important. 5th ingredient is commitment to focus. This principle starts far before the tournament begins. It starts at layup, and it doesn't finish until the last match of the tournament. In this fast-paced, adrenaline-dumping, chaos collage that we call tournament paintball, there's no time for distractions. When we are competing, we can't have bills and jobs and unhappy significant others. For that small amount of time, we're free. We have to be. The world will drag on us like a ball and chain to the ankle. To find the winning formula, we have to create a space. We have to create a small space where nothing matters, even if it's for a short period of time. Yes, the bills, the job, the partner, they'll still be there after. But for this short period of time, nothing can be here. Nothing can distract. The infinite universe reduces down to a field, to a team, to a collection of moments. Moments our team will build together. The shared vision of victory is all there is room for. No time for infighting or distractions or ego trips. A constant commitment to focus is the only winning strategy there's ever been. There is no avatar for the distracted champion. The story of the distracted champion has always been a story of dissension, a tale to be avoided. In a game like ours, with so many things to be learning and focusing on, constantly re-examining, what time is there for anything else? What a shame it is to have so many ingredients and miss one that is essential enough to destroy the recipe in its absence. Commitment to focus. Ingredient number 6. We have to steal some points we're not supposed to win. Inevitably, through a span of a deep run in a tournament, there will be crucial situations where something big will be needed. A big play will be required. We will be down big on bodies, maybe a penalty, or a call doesn't go our way, or an explosion off the break leaves us down huge. The winning recipe demands that some percentage of these points have to get clawed back. If the winning recipe involves always collecting the points that you're supposed to win, then inevitably we must make our opponents break this rule. We must recognize these potential situations. Lots of good teams have calls and codes for this situation, but ultimately, it requires recognition that our initial game plan and strategy will not be sufficient. It requires an understanding that sitting back in a couple of backline bunkers, down 3 bodies, will never win against a proficient team. It requires some creativity. Requires some bravery. Requires a little bit of fuck it in your game. It's having a mentality that I will not let our coach tell the point. I will take it upon myself and with my teammates to find victory in a point that's screaming defeat. I will recognize that our entire opposite side of the field is blown out, and I will seize the initiative. Seize the initiative I have available before the point is lost. Every point we lose while down on the scoreboard is an opportunity to be a hero. Opportunity to be difference maker. I see players aching to be a hero when it's not called for. Yet when the situation allows for it, they clam up and allow the opposing team to slowly dink out them and their teammates. This is a huge aspect of the winning recipe. We must claw back some amount of points we are not supposed to win. And that requires recognizing those opportunities, having the wherewithal to execute on them appropriately. We will win some points we're not supposed to. Brings us to our second to last ingredient in the winning recipe: team and individual selflessness. This is a tricky one. Anyone who tells you they don't have an ego is either a fool or a liar, or both. Ego is necessary. You should want to be the best player on your team, or the best player on the field, or the best player at the tournament. These are righteous goals to strive for. What happens all too often is we allow the ego to trump the team. This is an essential line to never cross. Do I want to be the hero and the best player for my team? Absolutely. But I will enthusiastically get on my hands and knees to clean the bottom of my teammate's shoe if it will bring our team to victory. There has to be a spirit of selflessness and has to transcend the entire organization. From the person filling pods to the MVP. It's contagious. Nothing can stand in the way of victory. Most importantly, we and our egos cannot stand in our way. It's not about what's right sometimes. It's not about venting frustration or emotion. It's about results. It's about sacrifice. It's about whatever job we're doing, whether it's getting a gun ready, filling a pod, wiping a teammate down, or going on the field and playing out of our mind. We will do it to the best of our ability. We will do it with enthusiasm. We'll do it willingly. Selflessness is the second to last ingredient to the winning recipe. Which brings us to our last ingredient. The last essential ingredient for the winning recipe. Know thy opponent. Sun Tzu in The Art of War put it as such. If you know the enemy and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. And that's good news, because you need to win about 50 of them to win a tournament. Knowing the opponent is something that is not given adequate respect, especially in lower divisionals. Scouting is a team effort. Understanding our opponent's tendencies, their capabilities, their weaknesses and strengths. How do those weaknesses and strengths line up with our own? What is their weakness that can bring them down? What is the chink in the armor? Do we know our opponents? Do we know their tendencies inside and out? Do we put in the requisite time to watch, study? Do we wait for our coach to give us the scouting sheet, or do we take it upon ourselves to know thy opponent? So there you have it. My 8 essential ingredients to the winning recipe. Hopefully this can prove useful to you and your team as you prepare for battle for the 2026 paintball season. Thanks again for joining me on another episode of Next Point Podcast. Like always, if you're enjoying the content, like, subscribe, share, and all the usual podcast places. And until the next time, on to the next point.